Strays is actually way better than it has any right to be.
Any places, landmarks you remember?
I remember the devil in the sky.
Look at that guy!
Burn in hell, mother son of a
Dumb smile, those pants.
Rip your off and make you
stupid
what?
hat.
So Strays, it's a new dog-featured film that stars Jaime Foxx as Bug, Will Ferrell as Reggie, and two that I didn't know, Isla Fisher as Maggie and Randall Park as Hunter. Those are two voices I heard them, but I couldn't tell who the actors were. And then when I saw it at the end, I was like, oh yeah, that's who that is. This is a movie that has no right to be as good as it is, but it's almost like the super bad of dog movies. It's the comedy Homeward Bound or Air Bud or Air Buddies to a degree. But really it is more or less kind of like a hangover dog edition to a degree. Now it's not as raunchy. It's not as raunchy as I thought it could have gotten. I thought there was a level of raunchiness it was going to get to. And it kind of doesn't. It doesn't really go as far as I thought it could, but it's still a really funny film. This film really does see Will Ferrell come back into his prime, almost like old school kind of days. And there's some other films I could think of too, but this is one where he doesn't really hold back. He's this naive, unknowing character, like doesn't really know what's going on. He's learning everything, and he kind of comes into his own later on in the film. But it's Will Ferrell at his best, and I really enjoyed the character of Reggie here. Bug, who is Jaime Foxx, he's hilarious in this movie. He is really the driving force of this film, outside of Reggie, Will Ferrell's character's motivation to get back to his owner, Doug, played by Will Forte, who is just a monster in this movie. Like, they do a good job of just really setting him as the villain of the film. You want so many bad things to happen to him. So their motivation really is straightforward. He wants to get back to Doug so that he can bite his dick off. That's really what it is. So Reggie's abandoned by his owner, Doug, after they play a game of fetch and which is hilarious all by itself. You've probably seen that in the Red Band trailer. They talk about that. And so now he figures out that he actually is a good boy, the dog. He's a good boy. And Doug didn't treat him well. He's a bad man, and he needs to go bite his dick off. And that's pretty much the movie. But outside of that, Reggie meets Bug, Maggie, and Hunter. And they kind of have this little adventure while they're trying to get back to Doug's house so that they can attack him. And they have these different landmarks that Reggie remembers to try to get back to his hometown and get back to Doug. So it's kind of a road trip movie. It's kind of a hangover movie. It's a little bit of a Homeward Bound type situation. But there's like real motivation behind why he wants to go back. And there's some twists and turns in there, which are really great. But the thing I really enjoyed about this movie is that it doesn't fall into the trap that a lot of comedies fall into, where it's really funny in the first act, maybe even the second. But once that third act comes around and the overall climax, it kind of falls off a little bit. It falters in just being funny. It's trying to now tell this story, and it falters in being funny while it still does that. This movie does a good job of just keeping the comedy spread out. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. And in some cases, the funniness is because of these dogs cursing and saying all kinds of words and doing crazy acts. But the way they go about it, it really gets you into a dog's mindset and like what they think and why they do what they do. And it's really, really funny. While also paying homage to some of those, again, Homeward Bound movies, some of those older dog movies that we grew up with, but doing it in a really funny way. That's actually kind of scary in a couple of moments. But this is a really good one. I will say this though. Don't take your kids to see this movie. If you watch the trailer, maybe the Green Band trailer, and you just don't know, this is a hard R film. There was a lot of kids in the theater that I was in, and some of the workers would come by and say, hey, just so you know, this is a hard R film. Are you okay? They're like, yeah, no, we're good. So I was like, all right, either they already know, or they're just like, we're stuck, we're here, we paid for it, we gotta watch the movie. Those kids learned a lot, I'm telling you, because there's some funny moments in this movie, but it's a lot of raunchy moments. Again, I feel like it could have gone up another level, just kind of become its own hangover, and it is for dog lovers, I guess. This wouldn't work for cats. Like, this is something that would only work for dogs, but this is a really funny film. Everybody does a good job here. Will Ferrell kills it. Jaime Foxx kills it. Isla Fisher and Randall Park, they get a lot of moments to shine in this one as well. And there's also a couple of like really good cameos in this one from actors, and then like actors that are doing voices of different dogs. It's actually really good. It's not a whole lot when it comes to cameos, which I thought was great. So it is very contained. It's very in its own story. And there's even like some side stories that get a lot of payoff and have their own arc as well, which I think was great. So it's a really well-rounded film as far as the story is trying to tell, even though the premise seems kind of flimsy, a little bit paper thin. it does a lot to keep you engaged with these characters and understanding what they're going through. It also kind of has a big human element to it as well, like as far as, humans and what they mean to their pets and what pets mean to the humans. And it goes into that a little bit, not hard, obviously, but with some of the relationships it highlights. I thought that was really good. So it's not just, oh, it's raunchy. It's just sausage party with dogs. It's not really like that. There's moments of that, but it has a lot of payoff with the story it's trying to tell and with the characters that were involved. I think they did a really great job here. The movie's directed by Josh Greenbaum. He just recently did like Barb and Star Go Somewhere. I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one at all. So, but it's produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, which I didn't know at first. I knew it was saying something like brought to you by the guys that did 21 Jump Street, and also the producers or the studio behind Cocaine Bear. So I didn't know. And then there was a live Q&A after the movie with the director and with Chris Miller, which I thought was really cool. And they got to kind of answer some questions that this one lady was kind of giving them. It was cool to kind of hear their background on like how they chose the dogs, how they chose the story, thoughts on some of the cameos, and when they reached out to some of the actors to be in this. That was kind of funny to get some little tidbits on.
How many of these should we eat?
All of them?
Give me a sec.
Whoa.
You look different.
You look different too.
How so? Is it my human hands? Hold up.
Check this one out. Comes out this Friday, the 18th. It's a funny one. It's a really good one. If you're a Will Ferrell fan, you'll enjoy it. If you're a Jaime Foxx fan, you'll enjoy it. It's just a really fun, raunchy, hilarious movie. It's got some side-splitting moments for sure in this one. So I think it'll be a classic. It's kind of here to stay, especially because it's dogs. And I appreciate also that they did practical dogs. They didn't do like a CGI situation or an animated type situation. These are dogs. Obviously, they VFX the mouths so they could talk, but they had some really cool performers in this one as far as the dogs are concerned. And a lot of them were new to this. Like this was their first time being in a film. So like that was a little bit of the tidbits I got from the Q&A. So funny one. Again, August 18th, this Friday. If you're interested, definitely check it out. If you laughed at the trailer, you're going to die laughing at this movie the entire runtime. So check it out. I finally watched it, had a great time. Alamo Drafthouse. It's a really fun theater here in Texas. So I had a really good time watching that and being there for the live Q&A. So let me know your thoughts on this one if you've checked it out or if you're going to check it out. Let me know in the comments or come back after you watch the movie on Friday. Talk to me. I want to know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Check out the other videos I got here for you. And as always, I will see you on the next one. Take care.